This is Steward Leaders. I'm Eric Alexander, and this is a short reflection on leadership as stewardship. Listeners, thanks for joining us today, and hello to you again, Drayton McLane Jr. and Drayton McLane III, for another Steward Leaders conversation. We just wrapped up a really good one. If you didn't hear that, go back and listen. And in that one, I've got a little more of an introduction about them today. For this one, though, we're going to be a little bit quicker. I'll just say these are good friends, good colleagues. I respect them both a bunch. And we intersected when I was serving at CFO at the bank in Amarillo, where they were serving on the board. Appreciate these two a bunch. So, hello, Drayton and Drayton.
Great to see you.
Hi, Eric.
It's an honor being here.
Appreciate you very much.
Welcome to Central Texas.
Thank you. It's good to be here. It's gorgeous today. Would you please send us some of the rain you've been having?
We don't have any to spare.
No
We're going to keep all the rain we got.
So the episode we just wrapped up, we talked about stewardship related to business, and they're in a multi-generational business and fascinating stories there. What I wanted to talk about, though, is it's interesting when I brought that topic up, where Drayton Jr. immediately went was his Christian faith, the example of his parents, and how that affected how they approach business. I'd like to talk about stewardship more broadly as it relates to Christian living for anybody, business person or otherwise. So whoever wants to jump in.
Just to have the standards that we talk about in your professional career kind of transfer over to your personal life as well. So you have that, and then hopefully whatever your situation is, if you're married or not married, but on the married side, that your spouse kind of has the same standards, and then that your children, if they're still in the house, that you work with them to learn that, or as they're minor teenagers now it's the part of enforcing them.
Enforcing them.
You know this now, and as you're supposed to do that, but they do a good job, and so it's everybody helps each other, and nobody gets upset if one person calls out the other one. It's to say you're out of bounds here.
Or if you get upset, you've got ways to get over it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's good. It's good. So, Drayton Jr.
Well, I think what's important is in the way you live your life every day. You can't have two standards, that you're one way on Sunday or one way when you're in business, or you're a different way when you're relaxing over a holiday or the weekend. You're the same person, and your values are the same every day, and they shouldn't change. And I remember later, as I got an adult and matured, my parents had very strict standards for my sister, and their favorite word was, "That's not how we live our life." We would come home, "Well, my buddy, he can do this," and they would say, "No." But they would go into detail and said, "That's not how we live our lives." Didn't understand it, didn't appreciate it, kind of rebelled against it sometime. And then it affected me when I matured later on, and hopefully had an impact on Drayton and our other son, Denton. It had an impact on him. And it's fun today. They have teenage sons.
Right.
And I see that impact on them. Drayton's son is a sophomore in high school, came by to see my wife and I yesterday afternoon, and we said later, we're really proud of the son that he is being managed by his mother and dad, much similar as we did or our parents did to us. So you got to set your standard, and you can't sway back and forth. Just say, that's how we're going to live our lives.
You're right. There is a lot of joy when you see those standards to the next generation. And the next generation, I love it when my boys are doing a better job. They're not boys, they're men. When my boys are doing a better job with that next generation and passing on those values and those standards.
Don't you smile?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
When they left
Very
yesterday,
much.
we bragged on he and his son. And just joy comes to your heart.
Yes.
That I had a business leader who was really influencing my business career. And he told me one time something that was very interesting. He said, anybody can run a good business. But he said the example of a great leader, that 3 years after he's gone, the business is running even better.
Right.
He said, you can run it when you're there, but when you're gone, what was your impact on that business? And how are they doing now? I said, that's a real judge of a leader.
How are your kids doing as they grow up?
Yes.
How are your grandkids
As they're in
doing
high
as
school
they
and they're
grow
in
up?
college, and then they become adults. So his was, he said, it's the influence and the teaching
Yes.
and the examples you set to others. He said, look at it 3 years after you're gone.
Wow, that's good. So one of the things that strikes me when I think about stewardship is a steward is not an owner. Psalm 24, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. The car I drove down here, the house Chris and I live in, it's our names are on the titles, but we are stewards.
But you can't take it with you.
I can't take it with me. People can go, but stuff's not going.
Somebody else will live in it.
That's right. Somebody else will
That's what
live
you got
in
to
it.
look at.
So how does that aspect of I'm not really ultimately the owner, capital T, capital O, respond to that thought?
I think that maybe the answer is we gotta have a lifestyle where we don't need attention or media stuff. We don't need being news or media, and so that part is I think helpful, that you're not always trying to do something to get attention. We're just doing our thing, and then what we do here, and then at home. So that I think that's kind of helpful, and that might be where some people get off the path as they're trying to be important or
Be important.
be somebody that gets a lot of clicks and attention.
It's all about me. It's
Yes.
all about me. When I think about a steward, it's
kind of-
not about me.
Yeah, we're happy with our employees being, the ones that either the leaders there or especially they pass it down to the people that do the work. That's where all the attention goes.
So in our Christian living, where else does that show up? Those principles of it's not about me. I'm living for the long term.
I always related it later of public school teachers. We didn't know how to read and write when we were in the first grade, and we learned that. We didn't know how to do Algebra 2 either. But someone,
Especially not in the first grade.
well, even now, even as a junior in high school, maybe that wasn't
Right.
the easiest. But think of the patience teachers all the way through, and think how we got better and better and better every year. And we had dedicated teachers that taught us how to do that job. As business leaders, we're teachers too. We're not graded as, we don't have to take tests as we did, but we're graded by how we learn to be a better leader. So throughout our business, people talk about this great leader and all that. We're really teachers. We have the right values, and we're teaching others how to do that. That's how you built a big, big business. Walmart started in 1962 with one store in Rogers, Arkansas. Today they have 2.3 million employees, 9,000 stores all over the world. They set a pattern in their teachers, and they taught the next generation how to run Walmart.
And you were up close to that for a period of time, serving as co-chair after you sold
So
the business.
as business leaders, we're really teachers, and we hold people accountable for living or setting the standards and running a business with high integrity and ethics.
And we're teaching by our words. You talked about that some in the previous episode. Your statement of values, that the employees at the meetings would say, hey, I can share the values. I can tell you the values. You're also teaching with your example.
They have bought into it.
They bought into it. Now, if you say it and you're not living it, they won't buy into it.
Well, we always ended, said, hold us accountable.
That's powerful.
Part of the way you see in this office, but we've made it at other places where we have operation, is all the glass doors instead of just a regular door, wooden door or something. So it's kind of mention it every once in a while, but it's meant to, if we're in here, people see us, may not hear what they're saying, but they at least see us doing stuff, and
Right.
there at you're in your office, and so it's kind of like everything's kind of in the open, and there's not secrets or things going on that they don't know about. And so we make sure we have open offices and meeting rooms that everybody can look into and see.
and they still close because there are times you have to have a
Absolutely.
confidential conversation.
Yeah.
But the general thing that communicates is transparency, an openness.
We're not hiding anything.
not hiding
I think a lot of
anything.
times we're private office and everything's secretive. We try to be open. Even our P&L we share with our employees. We share that with them so they understand how important it is to be successful.
That's good.
Or where there's problems, they help us solve the problems.
Well, anything else you two want to share on this?
One, I'd say one of my favorite words is joy.
Joy.
I get too many people that are just serious, blood and guts, and very serious and all that. You got, even Algebra 2 could have a little joy when you figured out some of it.
Right.
And you made a B. And so you got joy there. I think we're too serious and too wound up too tight, particularly in this technology age, where we don't have relationships. Relationships are the deal.
I want to comment on that. Then I'll let you have almost the last word.
Yeah.
It's interesting you bring that up. And relationships, how much of the joy. I think you brought up the story about your grandson coming by, bragging on the dad on the way of talking about the grandson.
That was a highlight of the weekend.
Yeah, it was
And
like-
we had been to church and Sunday school, and they topped it off.
Joy in the relationship, in the workplace. Sometimes it's hard, but one of the things I found that makes work so fulfilling is the relationships that you create, including you're sitting on the board, I'm 2 layers down in the executive team, but we still developed a rapport and a relationship, and I'm grateful for that, and it brings joy.
Do you remember the last of a board meeting? The CEO brought in executives from other branches, and they went around the room, and they all talked what was going on in some town where they were
Right.
80 miles away.
Yes.
I thought, I said to Pat several times, that was the best part of the meeting.
And they felt acknowledged
Included.
and seen and
Yes.
included, and that was very special. I remember before I was on the executive team, when I got pulled into those, or even with my team when I was a CFO, when it was time for one of the ones on my team to come report, that was the FaceTime with the board in front of the executive team was really pretty special, acknowledging the value of the contribution.
Many of them were small towns. They talked about the rainfall or the corn cob or the price of beef.
Price
was
of
good.
beef, right?
I thought this is what life's business is all about. You could have not paid them and they'd still done it.
Drayton 3, anything you want to add?
Yeah, you talk about leading different lives, a part of what you preach to your people or your family. But then there's so much. That's such a risk. There's so much that is being recorded wherever you go.
That's true.
If you go to a restaurant or a bar or a concert or whatever, and you're doing everything that you're trying to hide from other people, there's such a risk of either that or somebody filming you.
Right, that's true.
So there's such a risk. It's these days with technology that it's not worth taking.
And then there's the one who always sees, even without the technology. Right. So ending the meeting with accountability, as you did with the employees, that's a good place for us to end here. We need to be accountable for those values, for those principles. Wow. Lots of here for all of us as steward leaders to be thinking about Drayton and Drayton. Thanks so much for
It's
taking
an
time.
honor to
for
have
this.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
This has been good. Thanks. Thanks for listening to Steward Leaders.